Hello and welcome to the show. I'm your host Zulf, and today I'm going to give you how to live stream in 5 steps. There's a couple of things we're going to cover today, and the idea of this is going to be getting you to live stream with multiple angles and having loads of options to play about with while you're live streaming. So it will help you in terms of getting a better video quality and also make it look a bit more interesting, because it can get boring having the same shot always. So what we'll do is we'll cover the points. I've got like a mini 5-step guide, which is this, and one is internet speed test. So we'll get straight into this. What we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I do my internet speed test and why the internet speed test is such a big thing to worry about when you're live streaming. So let me share my screen with you now and show you. This is a broadband speed test search in Google, and it actually gives you a run speed test now. It comes up with a little box and it does a check. There's 2 numbers it's going to give you. One is going to be your download speed and one is going to be your upload speed. So let me just bring that screen slightly up so you can see it. You can see there's 2 numbers there. One is 77 megabytes. That's a download speed. That means when you're watching a video or you're downloading something from the internet, that's the number that impacts you. The second number, which in this case is about 10 megabytes, which is not bad. For 1080p video, I could stream at that and get good quality. So 9.74 megabytes upload. That means if I was to stream, I could do it comfortably at 1080p. And 1080p would be this type of quality and this type of quality. So it's actually enough to get you started in video and live streaming. So say for example that number was lower. What does that mean? So instead of 9.74 megabytes, let's say it was 4 megabytes or 5 megabytes. That will trigger me into thinking, you know what, it's not quick enough for a 1080p stream. So if I wanted to live stream and I was trying to stream with a lower number, then the quality of the video won't be the same. There'll be some dropped frames, which means the live stream experience won't be great. So in that case, what you can do to counteract that is, instead of streaming at 1080p video, stream at 720p video. All you're basically doing is the picture that you're sending out from big picture, you're going down to a smaller picture. A lot of people will be watching the stream on a mobile phone or a device. So in that case, it'll be fine. So you don't have to worry. It's not like they're going to be noticing a lot of a difference, and it's a live stream as long as your audio is good. And you should be able to tell here now, as I speak away towards this camera, the volume will be different as if I was to speak to this camera, because I have a microphone set up. So that's something else to think about. Number 2 on my list is webcams or cameras. What's the difference? A webcam will be a different quality. So that's a webcam there, 1080p, and the quality from that will be not as good as a DSLR camera. Right now this camera is a camcorder which is doing 1080p. I've got one light there and I've got one light just out of shot up here. So that gives you an idea of how it would look and how it would feel. So if that's something you wanted to get quality wise, this is probably similar to a webcam if you had good lighting. And the flip side of it, if you had a DSLR camera like I do here on a Canon EOS webcam utility tool, that's the quality you get. And you know what, you could even do something like a 3rd shot here. So you can see now I've actually got a camera up here, which is also a camcorder. So cameras are going to be great for live streaming. I'm doing all of this on the fly. This is all one take, and I'm actually using shortcut keys. If I press F2, it'll go over to this camera. If I F1, it'll come to this camera. If I do escape, it'll go back to our list. So we've covered number 2, webcams and cameras. Make sure to stay tuned, because one of the good ones in here is displays, which people don't think about. So make sure you hang about for point number 5. I think you'll like that one. So if I go back to the list, we've got mic and audio. So mic and audio is a big thing. Let me close that screen down and go back to full screen again. So you want a microphone that's going to give you good quality. You can actually get away with slightly bad video. When I say bad, like less quality, but if they can hear you clearly, then that's the main point. Can I show you this? I can show you this. Let me go to that widescreen. So on this screen here, you can see this is the microphone I'm using. So just by adjusting the microphone slightly and putting it like this, you should have seen an impact to the quality of the audio. Make sure you've got headphones on. If you don't have headphones on, you might not be able to tell the difference. So this is a microphone on a boom arm connected to my table, which means that there's less movement, and less movement makes it nicer for the audience. Now I've got a slightly more advanced setup here, because you can see this mixing board here. You can actually adjust individual levels to make your volume sound a bit more deeper or lighter for bass and treble and things like that. So that's something more professional that you can set up, but it's not essential. You can have something like just a microphone plugged straight into your computer, and that will do fine. So think about that and see how you feel about that, because microphones and audio mixer boards can get expensive. But when you're recording on a live stream, the main thing is if you can get separate audio, that's going to help you a lot, because separate audio means that it's all going directly into the software, and the software you can use to sync up the video and the audio, because you want ideally everything synced up. Sometimes there can be a delay if there's another software involved, for example, but we'll cover software as well. So that's a bit about mic and audio. Lighting is number 4. So number 4, lighting is very important. So just here, there we have a nice, maybe that won't sound as nice as it can do. Right there, I have a LED panel light. Do you need much light? You do need light. If you want it to be professional and a crisp image, then it'll make a difference. And what that allows you to do is you can actually use different lighting colors. So just in this color, if you notice, I've got like a bit of an orange tinge to me, because that light there is orange and that light there is set to white. In the it's colors, basically it's the different numbers you can set in there, which gives you different temperatures. In this one, you'll see it's a bit more natural lit, so that gives you an idea about lighting. If you can get lights, I would suggest get lights. That'll make a massive difference. Even if you were to use a webcam and not spend a couple of £100 on a DSLR, get a webcam, get a light, and that will actually give you a lot more nice setup. This is going to be like an overview of all the points, but I will go on to giving you examples, because I want to give you sections about each of the points I'm mentioning. So the internet speed we saw an example on, just to recap, and the webcams and cameras, I showed you the multiple cameras that you can use and how they would help you to make your live stream more interesting. And let's go back. What was it? Mic and audio. So audio is a good one. When I'm talking about audio, I'm actually not talking about microphone. I'm talking about audio, because what will happen is if you have a meeting and you have a Skype call live, you might get the other person speaking to you echoing back. So you want to make sure you plug in your headphones, and then you plug in your headphones to your computer, so you can hear that person in your ears, but not back into the live stream, because otherwise you'll get like a loop, which basically means you're hearing the person twice or 3 times or infinity. So that is quite important for audio. You can also put audio in your live stream. Like for example, in this hold, you'll see there's a bit of music in the background. And that relates to the software that you use. We'll talk a bit about software, which I have not put on the list because I'll give you that as a bonus tip. Lighting we've covered mic and audio, and now displays. So displays, what do I mean by displays? When you're live streaming, you want to be able to speak and read the chat. So you'll see here I have 2 monitors. Can you see? You can't see. Let me switch you. Let me switch you around. There. Maybe you can't see that as much, but there's one screen. That's probably a bit too loud. Okay, so there's one screen. So right now I'm using that screen to record on the left hand side, and on the right hand side I have a window that I can share with you like this. So that shows you one screen. This secondary screen here, I actually normally put my chat window on. So I could do something like this, and now that has a chat window on or a notes window. What that allows you to do is use 2 displays. If you're using a laptop, you can actually plug in another display into your laptop and have your laptop display and an additional display. And trust me, it helps so much in live streams, because you can actually not worry as much because you've got one constant feed of the camera, and at the same time you can see what's going on in chat and if people are popping in or you want another window to come up. So that will help you a lot. Normally this display has a shade on it. What that shade does is similar to that. When lights are on, it stops the display color going off, so it's color calibration and making sure you're getting the best of the color. You can see my light there now. That's basically a DIY bit of a light setup. What I've done is used the old box and put in the LED panel, put in a bit of paper, and it's making it a bit more nice and soothing. It's not as harsh. So that's the idea with setting it up. So we've covered the 5 points here, and the last point that I haven't really covered is the software. Now this is going to be the main thing that will make or break it. You can either live stream directly into YouTube, or you can set up a nice little setup in program like Open Broadcast Studio. There's 2 types of program. You get Streamlabs OBS and OBS. One is geared more towards streaming and one is a bit more lightweight. One lets you put like add-ons in there and things. So you can look at that, you can think about that, but I think this next video I do will probably give you more information about that. But I'm hoping to put this as part of a segment of a wider complete guide where I'll give you more information about each of the things I talked about. So stay tuned and I'll see you on my next video.